Hey baddies! I've recently been recovering from a bit of a plague that's been going around, so I'm sorry if I don't have the best energy about me right now. But anyway, what I thought I'd do today is share a recipe that I picked up at a herbalism course of all things for mulled wine. I love mulled wine. It's so good for you. It's got all sorts of things. It's got nutmeg, which stimulates the brain and is an antimicrobial and an anti-inflammatory. We've got cinnamon, great for colds. We've got ginger, aids in digestion. We've got orange, great source of vitamin C. It's literally everything your body needs to get a bit of a kickstart. Sorry if this is shaking a bit. I am filming on my bed and I get a bit excited and it shakes. Oh well. Yeah, so I'm hesitant to call this recipe vegan because it does contain quite a bit of honey, and there is a lot of debate going on as to whether honey is vegan, because on the one hand the bees died, basically. There's no easy way to put it. When you collect honey, some bees are going to die, but on the other hand, bees are really good for the environment, and we want to really support the bee industry to help with the population of bees and protection of bees. So I'll just leave it up to you whether or not you want to include honey, whether you want to make this vegan. But yeah, it's pretty easy. All you need to do is substitute sugar or any other sweetener in. So if you want to learn how to make mulled wine, the very best recipe that I've ever picked up, keep watching. So welcome to my witch kitchen. Now the first thing that you want to be doing is roughly chopping an apple up into a whole bunch of itty bitty pieces. Chuck the apple pieces into a largish saucepan, as long as it's big enough to fit 750 mils ish. A bit more than that, you'll be right. What we're going to add to this is some nutmeg. Now I've got whole nutmegs, as you can see there. Just because I prefer not to use the ground version of spices. I find that it can make your mulled wine a bit gritty, especially if you use ground cinnamon and all that sort of stuff. So I'll be trying to steer clear of powders and all that sort of stuff. Now, one thing to be careful of with a nutmeg is they are slightly toxic. So about half of one of these things, if that, can put you into a whole heap of fits and seizures. So definitely don't be liberal with your use of nutmeg. Just do it a little bit to taste. You don't want all that much because we don't want to get seizures and seizing up on the ground and have to go to hospital. So what I'm doing here is I'm just simply grating the nutmeg. Be careful not to hit your fingers by accident. And again, you only really need a small amount. Next we are adding to the pot 1 star anise, one whole cinnamon stick, ten whole cloves, and about a pinch of ginger. I only had the powdered version of ginger, but oh well. Hopefully it'll dissolve. Picking the grater up again, what we're going to do is grate the rind from one whole orange. We want to get as little of the white underneath the skin as possible, just because it might taste a bit funny otherwise. And again, be careful of your fingers. Next we will be adding about a 1/4 cup of honey. This is Beechworth's Bee Cause honey. I prefer honey over sugar, mainly because I find it's a lot healthier for you. And this bottle here that I've selected is the Mountain Honey. I was kind of going for a bit of a Viking vibe, and hopefully that'll come out in the finished product. And once you've squeezed out 1/4 of a cup of this honey, add it to the pot. To finish up, add 2 cups of water. Heat your concoction on the stove and let it simmer for 15 minutes. You can kill time by snacking on the orange. Remember, waste not, want not. Oh, and look how yummy that all looks. The house absolutely reeks of cinnamon and nutmeg and apple, and it's absolutely divine. And dancing around like a bored idiot just wasn't enough for me, so I decided to torment my dog. I'm sorry, Janie. Generally speaking, red wine isn't vegan. The process of making red wine actually involves the use of fish oil and other ingredients that come from fish. So what's important about this recipe is we are using Speak No Evil, 100% organic wine, red wine, Shiraz. And as you can see, it is, if it can focus, you can see the little V. It's vegan friendly. So, I don't know. It's up to you. If you're not vegan, I can respect that. If you are vegan, I totally admire you. But yeah, just something to keep in mind is what makes this mulled wine recipe, at the very least vegetarian, is the fact that we are using veggie friendly wine. Ideally, you'd like 750 ml of a red wine of your choice. For this recipe, wine that is on the cheaper side is actually preferable because it'll bring out the flavours more. Crank up the heat and let it bring to the boil. Watch the pot carefully, and as soon as it comes up to the boil, bring it straight back down. We don't want to burn off the alcohol. Let it simmer for a further 10 minutes. Take a sieve and a glass jug or any other sort of suitable container and pour the mixture in, straining through all the apple and spices. The leftover soaked apples make an absolutely divine snack. So pick them out and store them in the fridge. Or just eat them all in one go. I'm not going to judge. The mulled wine can be poured back into the original bottle. Just be careful because it is quite hot, as you can see. Because we've added water and other things, you'll end up with more wine than what you started with, but it works out to be about a glass more. Serve warm, on the couch, spending your evening with your dogs, like the fantastically beautiful loser you are.